Alright guys, this video is the PowerPoint for the SOL review on standards 7 and 8, which have to deal with the Byzantine Empire, the Eastern Orthodox Church, and eventually Islam. So, as with any video, in case you guys have forgotten, you can always stop, pause, rewind, all of the above, and revisit. I'm going to slide this up here, and then let's get rolling. Alright, identifying the locations, the body of water right here is the Aegean Sea, the Mediterranean Sea to the south. Black Sea is up here. The Sea of Marmara is located between the two straits. Anatolia is that big piece of land. We've also referred to it as Asia Minor before. Alright, the city of Constantinople is overlooking one of the two straits right there on the Black Sea. The two straits are the Dardanelles by the Aegean and the Bosporus by the Black Sea. Easiest way to remember which one is which is B is with B, Bosporus with the Black Sea. So that's our map in and around the Byzantine Empire. Alright, a couple of advantages of the location of Constantinople. We have protection of the eastern frontier. This is reasons why it survives the downfall of the Western Roman Empire. Distance from Germanic invasions in the west. So they've got protection of the eastern frontier. They can protect from eastern attack. They're distant from Germanic invasions. They're a crossroad of trade. The Silk Road's going to run through that city. And it's easily fortified site on a peninsula bordered by natural harbors. As you can see, it's a peninsula sticking out into the water. The territorial, economic, and cultural height of the Byzantine Empire occurred under the rule of a man named Justinian. Alright, Justinian's three main contributions are the territorial expansion of the empire. He tries to reconquer all Roman territories. His codification of Roman and Greek laws, known as the Code of Justinian, and his expansion of trade. The law codes of Europe and eventually the United States are going to be heavily influenced by Justinian's code, just so you understand the importance. The main inspiration for Byzantine art was religion and imperial authority. Icons, just so you know, are religious images depicting people or scenes and used for devotional purposes, so to pray to, essentially. So images, pictures that you could pray to or direct your prayer. And then blank is a form of art created by assembling colored stones, glass, and tiles, and that is a mosaic. Which culture was the Byzantine Empire successful in preserving? Alright, Greco-Roman. They are one of our places where Greco-Roman culture will survive the Dark Ages that passed through Western Europe. Alright, what public structures were responsible for preserving this Greek and Roman knowledge? Libraries and museums that get built throughout the empire. And the most common language of the Byzantine Empire, guys, remember where it is. It's Greek. Greek. After the split with Roman Catholicism, Constantinople is going to eventually become the center for the Eastern or Greek Orthodox Church, which, as you can see, influences Russia with these Russian churches there. The big structure here is one of the big ones that you have to know on site. It is the Hagia Sophia, which is located in Constantinople. Now let's talk about the differences here. In Roman Catholicism, the language is Latin. In Orthodox, it's Greek. The head of the Roman Church is the Pope. The head of the Greek Church is Patriarch. The Roman Catholic Church can be found primarily in the West. The Orthodox Church would generally be in Eastern Europe. The seat of power is still Rome. The seat of power for the Orthodox Church is going to be Constantinople. And celibacy, what that means is whether the priests can marry or have families. In the Catholic Church, you are not allowed to. Priests are not allowed to marry, have children. They have to remain celibate. All right. In the Eastern Orthodox Church, they're not allowed, or they're not required to be celibate. Divorce is not permitted by the Catholic Church, by anybody, and divorce is permitted in the Eastern Orthodox Church. The Catholic Church allows the use of icons for devotional purposes only, in the Eastern Orthodox for decorative purposes. Easiest way to remember it, guys, is it's the Church of No and the Church of Go, G-O for Greek Orthodox. The inhabitants of the region to the north of Constantinople were known as Slavs, not slaves, Slavs, like the Slavic peoples. All right. Interaction between the Slavs and the Byzantines is going to occur between what two bodies of water? That is between the Black Sea, where Constantinople is located, and the Baltic Sea. All right, present-day Ukraine, Poland, Romania, Belarus, and what used to be Western Russia. What type of interaction aided in the diffusion of culture between Slavs and the Byzantine Empire? Trade and missionaries. Remember, diffusion is the spread of culture, oftentimes through trade. And then what contribution is associated with missionaries St. Cyril and St. Methodius? And that is the Cyrillic alphabet, which was the St. Cyril and St. Methodius took the Greek alphabet and adopted it to fit the Slavic people's languages. And this eventually becomes the basis of what language Russia and a lot of those Eastern European, Western Asian languages are written in. The purpose of this contribution was to aid in the Slavic conversion to Orthodox Christianity by creating an alphabet that fit for them. They were able to make them Bibles that they could read. All right, the city of Constantinople is finally going to be conquered by the Ottoman Turks in the year 1453, and that is the end of the Byzantine Empire, almost 500 years after it started, or 1,000 years after it started. Now, the country that continues on the cultural traditions of the Byzantine Empire after the Ottoman conquest is going to be Russia. All right, and then Byzantine characteristics adopted by the Russians in Eastern Europe is going to be religion. Eastern Orthodox Church is going to spread north from the Black Sea into Russia, into that area along the Baltic Sea. You're going to see art overlaps and architecture. All right, and there's the basics of the standard again. Moving on, Standard 8, Islamic civilization. Identify the geographic location for the founding of Islam. That is the Arabian Peninsula. All right, in Southwest Asia, just across the Red Sea from Africa. All right, bodies of water, as I suggested, that's the Persian Gulf, and there is the Red Sea. Arabian nomads and early converts are going to be known as Bedouins. All right. According to Islamic tradition, who is considered the last prophet of the one true God and the founder of the faith of Islam? And that is Muhammad. The three holiest cities of Islam are Mecca, Medina, and Jerusalem. All right, Mecca is the city where Muhammad was born. It's the location of the Kaaba. Medina was our first Muslim city where Muhammad had to flee to when the Meccan civilization, or the Meccan people, did not like him. And then Jerusalem is the location of the Dome of the Rock. The geographic extent of the Muslim Empire will eventually expand out of the Arabian Peninsula to include Central Asia, almost all the way to India, as you can see the Indus River right there, up against the Byzantine Empire here, so up to the Caucasus Mountains, all across North Africa, and up the Iberian Peninsula, where you're going to remember they are stopped at Tours, so Spain. The holy text for Islam is the Quran. They are monotheistic. The Arabic word for God is Allah. The basic acts of Islam are known as the 5 pillars. That's how they practice their faith on a daily basis. And they accepted Jewish and Christian prophets, specifically Abraham, Moses, and they believed that Jesus was not the Son of God. They believed that Jesus was a prophet, though. They believed he was a man of God. The 5 pillars of Islam are faith, prayer, fasting, alms, and pilgrimage. Hajj, Zakat, Shahada, Salam, and Psalm. The spread of Islam is going to be greatly facilitated by trade and conquest. All right, so trade will help it spread, as well as the spread of the empire conquering new territory. Now, another thing to remember is the geographic barriers that Islam was able to overcome, which is going to include mountains, deserts, great distances as it spreads. It's not in the most hospitable place in the world. And then expansion is also going to be facilitated by the weakened state of these two empires, the Byzantines and the Persians. Remember, we have a weak Byzantine Empire here. We have a weak Persian Empire when the Muslims start to develop, and they're eventually able to conquer and finish off the Persians. True or false? The political unity established by this Muslim empire was extremely short-lived. The answer to that is true. Which language spread with Islam and facilitated trade throughout the empire? The answer to that is Arabic. And true or false, slavery within the Islamic civilization was based upon one's race. That is false. Slavery was not based upon race. Now, the cause for the Sunni-Shia split after the death of Ali, the fourth and final rightly guided caliph, was... We had two groups. We had the Shia, believed that the caliph should be a descendant of Muhammad through his grandson Ali. So they believed that we should have rightly guided caliphs only, blood relatives of Muhammad. Alright, and that is the Shia. The Sunni Muslims believe that the caliph must only live in Muhammad's example and have community support. So they believe that it didn't require that the caliph be a direct descendant of Muhammad, just that he live life as Muhammad would have. Alright, Islamic conquest of Jerusalem would later become a rallying cry for the Crusades. Now, there are two big dynasties that we've talked about, the Umayyad dynasty and the Abbasid dynasty. The Umayyads come first. They are our first dynasty after Ali's death and rule for about 100 years. Their capital is Damascus. In around the year 750 CE, the Abbasid dynasty comes to power, and they move the capital from Damascus to Baghdad, which becomes the center of Muslim culture for 500 years. The spread of Islam into Europe was finally stopped by Charles Martel and a Christian alliance of the Franks at the Battle of Tours. And then which civilization is eventually going to conquer the city of Baghdad in 1258? And that is our boys, the Mongols, who pretty much conquer everybody between the years 1200 and 1300, but we'll come back to them later. This structure is another one of our important ones that you need to know by identification. It is known as the Dome of the Rock. It is located in Jerusalem, on the same site as the Wailing Wall, or the remains of the Temple Mount are of Solomon's Temple. Islamic universities and libraries were able to preserve the knowledge of which cultures. The answer to that is Greek, Persian, and Indian, as well as Roman too. So you're going to have Greek, Persian, Indian, Roman culture preserved in Islamic universities and libraries. This is the second place where Greco-Roman culture is going to be preserved. Islamic scholars are going to translate ancient texts from their native languages and the languages they were originally written in into Arabic. And the Islamic Translation and Education Center within Baghdad was known as a House of Wisdom. So these are the foundations for early universities. They were called Houses of Wisdom. Arabic numerals were adopted from which civilization? The answer there is India, from Gupta, India. Arabic numerals are the numbers that you write with on a daily basis. Alright, which mathematical branch was established as an independent discipline by the Muslim scholar I'm not even going to try, and that is algebra. Okay, so algebra comes from the Muslims. Those of you suffering through it have them to thank. Muslim scholars contributed to which disciplines? Math, medicine, geography, astronomy, and astrology are all going to be things that are improved upon during this golden age of Islam when the capital is in Baghdad. And that's going to wrap up this video and this standard. Thanks, guys.